Okay, today we're going to do a short little tutorial about using Microsoft Word for doing your reference list and also how to use the OSLI database to do legal research. First of all, we're going to set up our document. Today I'm going to research mandatory sentencing, and I'm going to set up the reference list. I have a Mac version of Word, it's a little different. On here we go document elements, references, and it's all in there. We're going to click on manage, and here we're going to manage the references. Now with the Windows, looks like this. There's a references tab here, and there's the manage sources, which is the same as what we're dealing with here, and there's also an insert citation, which we'll show you a bit later on. It's actually easy to use. To do the screen capture, I'm using my Mac, so we'll show you on this. So I'm just going to copy that, mandatory sentencing. Now we're going to go to the OSLI site, austlii.edu.au, and I'll just go from the home. This is the home page. I'm going to click Advanced Search and select the journal databases. I'm going to use inverted commas so that it's going to get just those two terms in that order, and then search. And so here's all the articles it's bringing up. Alright, so let's have a look at this. Mandatory sentencing, a criminological perspective. Looks pretty good. Have a look at that. Australian Journal of Human Rights, so it's an Australian journal. And this is the introduction. So it's a criminological perspective. Okay, so here's a good point. Evidence from both the US and West Australia indicates that mandatory sentencing does not produce the effects of deterrence, selective incapacitation, etc., which it's stated to do, but it does produce a range of damaging side effects. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, that's an important point, so I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to come across here to my research notes. I'm just going to paste that in there. And so now I'm just going to add this to my reference list. Okay, so it's we're just going to look for the note up. Oh, sorry. No, going to. All right, I'm just going to type this in. So it's Brown David. I'll just copy this. So I'm going to go new citation, and it's an article in a journal. So Brown David is the author. Mandatory sentencing, a criminological perspective. The journal name is Australian Journal of Human Rights. Don't worry about the publisher. The year was 2001. Pages 16, 2001, 31. So it'll be on page 31. Not so necessary for school-based stuff. That's all right. I'm just going to go OK. And then you can see it's put in the reference immediately here, and it's added it to my citation list. Alright, so let's go down. Let's have a look and see what else we've got here. The 1993 strikes legislation. Remember, that was interesting about it. Okay, so that's all about the three strikes legislation, and I think that's an important point that's been discussed a lot. So I'm going to also put that in there. Right, and now here's a bit of a difference with the Windows version. When you have your references pane up here, you can just click on Insert Citation, and it'll give a whole list of all the references that you've already added. You just click on that one, and then it'll automatically add the in-text referencing for you down there. Okay, can't seem to see how it does that on the Mac one, it just adds it there. So anyway, I'll just cut and paste that, because that's the same one, the same article. Alright, so let's have a look. Let's go back and see if there's some more journal articles. What's that? What else is interesting here? Mandatory sentencing, failure of the Australian legal system. That looks pretty good. So this is failure to protect the human rights of Indigenous Australians. Okay, so the recent mandatory sentencing illustrates the inadequacy and inability of the Australian legal system, its institutions, to provide fundamental protection of the rights of Indigenous people. Okay, so that's a good point there. So we're going to just copy that. We're just going to make a new citation. Mandatory sentencing, copy that, paste it over there. And it's the JCU Law Review, James Cook University Law Review. The year was 2000. It's on page 235. Okay, alright, so we've got that. Right, now I probably would have done like a mind map or something to base this research on before I started, and I'd be looking for specific things within that mind map. But here, even if I'm just starting from scratch and just having a look at the different points, you can see how easy it is to start to build up a good research list. Now, I might also just want to do some kind of media reports and just see what the media reports out there. So I might just actually just do a Google search about mandatory sentencing. And this might give some Law Council Australia, for example. So this is an online article by the Law Council. So the Law Council is currently reviewing its policy. It's consistently opposed mandatory sentencing on the basis that da-da-da. Okay, so that's an important point. So I'm going to put that in there, and I'm just going to add a new citation, and this will be internet source or website, and then the author will be Law Council of Australia. The name of this actual page is News from the Law Council of Australia. The name of the website is Law Council Australia URL. Let's copy the URL in there. The year is 2014. Year access is 2015. May. Is it today? 15th of May. And it's 6th of May 2014 was put there. Alright, and that's enough. Okay, you might have to just adjust so that this makes more sense depending on what you've got there. Alright, so in that way you're starting to get a good reference a good research journal. So when you start to actually write your article, you can say, all right, evidence from both the US and Western Australia indicates mandatory sentencing doesn't produce deterrence and crime reduction, which it's supposed to. Brown, 2001. Okay, and you just go on like that, making your points. Okay, and if you want to, you have another point that's raised there, then you can go back and do a little more research and add that point. And that way, within this actual document, I would then start just writing my essay in this same document. Okay, so obviously you can't just type the exact thing, but you can say evidence from the US and Western Australia shows that mandatory sentencing does not actually deter crime, but rather produces damaging side effects such as social and financial costs and distortion of the judicial process. Right. And then if I was on the Windows one, I could just go up here and just insert citation, and I'd get a drop-down list of these. Otherwise here I'll just cut and paste this, and that would be, okay, bang. That's like my first paragraph done. Okay, now we'll just keep typing here in this same document because I'm already building up my reference list within this document. And then obviously later I can just cut and paste all of this research stuff into another document and show that that is my research journal. Okay, now when I've finished writing the whole document, what I'll then do is just go to the bottom of it and just come over here, document elements. It's the same on the Windows one, where you just insert the bibliography or works cited, and I'll just insert that, and then it'll generate a perfectly formatted reference list for me. Okay, and that's how I'd go about doing the research and writing for a legal essay.